is DJ.
Boom, boom, boom. This is Jared and I'm back. Hey, I'm so excited. We've got a great episode of Warriors Quest tonight. Man, I've got a great story to tell tonight, a great special guest. You're in for a great treat, and I'm so excited that you guys have joined me. Please share this broadcast and make sure you connect it with your friends and family because this kidney warrior, man, you're going to like to hear his story. So we've got a great story about a kidney warrior. All right, his name is Louis. Louis,
hey,
man, I'm so glad to have you on.
I'm so glad to be here, sir.
Thanks for coming on. I've got Louis, and then I've got his wife Jasmine. His wife Jasmine is joining. Thanks for joining us, Jasmine.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, man. I'm excited to do this. You hit me up. You were referred by someone and we got connected and we scheduled this out and I'm excited to do it.
Thank you. We're excited too.
Indeed.
Oh, you're welcome, man. So, man, Louis, let's just start this off by kind of having our followers just kind of get to know you a little bit. Will you introduce yourself? Let us know where you're from.
Name is Louis Johnson from New Jersey. I've been on dialysis since September 15th, 2016.
Okay, all right.
So I guess at this point it'd be 3 years and 3 months on dialysis, and looking to get a kidney. I believe I'm on the list or just about ready to go on the list. I'm getting the last parts of testing done. So once everything is in place, then I believe I will definitely be on the list.
All right, fantastic. That's awesome. Those steps aren't always easy to do.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. So, man, I'm glad to hear that's taken care of and you're nearly there and it's all nearly done.
Indeed.
When you first started dialysis, what kind of led you to that path? How did you find out that you had kidney disease?
I had gone into the hospital emergency room like maybe once, twice beforehand, and the nephrologist that I had at the time said to me, the next time that you go in, that we're going to put you on dialysis. It's because the numbers, the creatinine, how much blood that was going into my urine, things were elevated, and it was said to me at that point that you would probably have to go on dialysis.
Okay.
So that's pretty much how I found out. And the funny thing is, I know a lot of people will end up in this situation because of diabetes. I don't have diabetes at all. I have high blood pressure.
Gotcha.
And the thing with me is it's hereditary high blood pressure. So it's not from my mother or my father, but I would dare say it's from one of my grandparents, and I'd say specifically it would be my grandmother on my mother's side.
Okay, gotcha.
I got the high blood pressure from.
All right. I feel you. I've got high blood pressure too. It does run in my family, and my dad had it. A lot of my siblings have it, and so I can understand how that can happen, especially when you've got people within your family. And
Indeed.
Yeah. So I do take, I take lisinopril, I take some high blood pressure medicine. I try to regulate it, brother.
Very fine. I'm actually doing lisinopril as well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm fortunate. At one point, I was on 16 medications for high blood pressure, and now I'm now just down to that lisinopril for high blood pressure. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, sir. It's a great thing. It's a great thing to take one medication a day for the high blood pressure. And let's
Uh-huh.
say, for those people that are on dialysis and know about these things, you have to take those phosphorus binders like Renvela or
Right.
Velphoro.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm taking the Renvela every meal, as well as the Velphoro when I do have it. There is something called what is that? Sin something. It's a CIN.
Sensible.
Yeah, it's Sensipar
Okay.
that I take at night before I go to bed. So
Uh-huh.
those are the phosphorus binders I take. So you're looking at maybe two or three phosphorus specifically for dialysis and one high blood pressure pill. I'm good to go.
Uh-huh.
So
So, man, the binders obviously help kind of regulate that or minimize it because it's so difficult, right? To make sure that you're not. I mean, phosphorus is nearly in everything.
correct.
It's so hard.
Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
things you think that it would not be in. It's in like Coca-Cola
Yeah.
or cola type drinks. I don't know if I'm
Right.
supposed to say name things by name, but let's put it this way: dark
Dark
colored
colored
sodas.
colas or sodas. Yeah.
Exactly. Have if you look on the back of it, it says phosphoric acid, which means for someone who's on dialysis that has phosphorus, you either don't drink as much of it or you take your phosphorus binder when you drink those drinks.
Yeah. Right. And so that's to be able to kind of live like that on a daily basis, takes it it takes some discipline, and man, what kind of like diet has your doctor asked you to kind of follow? Sometimes it varies on what kind of modality you have as far as dialysis goes.
Right. I can pretty much eat whatever I'd like to. I have to do so in moderation. Um, I'm not going to give my credit for all the discipline. My wife that's sitting next to me, she will like, well, you're not supposed to eat that. Okay, why are you drinking that?
Nice.
Espe-
Yep.
Especially during the
Good job,
summertime.
Jasmine.
Thank you.
Yay.
Especially in the summertime.
Especially during the summertime. Um, they tell you to drink 32 ounces of fluid a day, and
Yeah.
that's combined ice, that's coffee, that's tea, that's any sauces, that's ice cream, anything that you would like to eat. And she has been she will watch me and like, okay, you're not supposed, didn't you have enough of that already? So I can say, yeah, I'm strong, yeah, I'm disciplined, I'm a man. No, like my wife next to
Yeah.
me was like, hey, easy fella, stop that. You're only supposed to drink 32 ounces of
She
water.
calls you out, huh?
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Gotta
definitely.
keep him healthy.
Yeah.
Keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and the thing with the eating, the diet is just simply that is, my, food like the meat, like any meats, in moderation, cheese, but in moderation, make certain that I take my binders. Um, I've been eating more fruits and vegetables. And even with some vegetables, you have to be mindful of the phosphorus content in them, or
Right.
or not necessarily phosphorus, but what do you call it? Tomatoes have it. Um, oh,
I'm gonna say potassium.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yay!
that's exactly
Nice,
it.
Jasmine. I was
So
going to say
I was,
potassium too, but I was too late. You beat me
yeah,
to it.
right. So you can imagine all the lovely Italian restaurants that we have out now.
Oh,
I'd love to
okay.
say their names, but
Right.
can't go to them as much as I'd like to because
Uh-huh.
main component is what? Tomato
Yep.
sauce
That's right.
or
Yeah.
grated Parmesan cheese. So
yeah,
no,
Yeah.
and somebody likes a lot of Italian food.
I do, and I had to limit
Yeah.
because I feel
Right.
bad when he can't have something.
Hmm.
Not
No,
that I should be eating it anyway, but yeah, he's my
food,
motivating.
Italian food is delicious. It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so
it's
I can't satisfy my inner Garfield and eat all the lasagna I would
for
like.
all you. Yeah.
Yeah, So it
What
comes
was
like
the dog on Garfield? Odie? I'm trying to remember the dog.
Odie.
Yeah.
Odie.
Yeah,
Odie. That was essentially his best friend.
yeah.
Yeah, the Odie was his best friend, and I remember listening to a Robin Williams routine and talk about how do cats mess with dogs' minds, and all you have to do is look at some of the old Garfield cartoons. You definitely see that a
You see it
cat
in the
exactly is like, what is wrong with you? So yeah,
for real, yeah.
yes, indeed.
Yeah, cats are something else. I love cats. I do. In fact, I love animals. I'm a big, I love dogs and I like cats too. Don't get me wrong, but it's just something about cats that, they really have a mind of their own, and they do what they want. A dog, you could call your dog. You know what I mean? And your
Yes, I
dog
do.
wants your attention. But the cat's like whatever.
Well, if I remember the saying correctly, they say dogs are man's best friend.
Yeah.
And you call a cat, the cat comes when it wants to come. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
whatever.
That's cruel.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're narcissists, okay? I'm not.
I will.
Oh gosh.
Mm, mm, mm.
But so you've got the pasta, the Italian food, but what are some other foods that maybe you have to, that maybe you'd like to eat, but you have to be careful about?
Steak.
Steak. You're right. Yeah,
Steak.
because
Not
I'm a
a
big
nice
steak guy.
T-bone.
Yeah, a nice T-bone, man.
Hmm.
And the meat in general, but especially beef, red meats. It's harder for your body, to kind of digest. So it's
True.
hard, so your kidneys work harder, and so that's many reasons why, but that's one of them is your kidneys have to actually work harder, because your
Right.
body's trying to digest
True.
this meat. It's harder. But so it's, and so some doctors will tell you not to, they'll kind of advocate or kind of instruct you to maybe go towards like a vegan diet, and some of them just say minimize it.
Um, I've been. I've asked some of the nutritionists and people at the dialysis clinic I go to, should I go vegan? Should I still eat
Yeah,
meat? And they say, well, for the fact that you need to get protein in, is that you should continue to eat
that's
meat,
a good
meaning
point. Good
meaning
point.
meaning beef, chicken, or fish.
Uh-huh.
I find that if I eat something like a salmon, it stays with me protein wise, but I don't have that feeling of like my body's working to digest it like I would with a good steak, like the
Okay,
T-bone
gotcha.
or some other or
Uh-huh.
a filet mignon.
Or,
Chicken is middle of the road for me.
yeah, okay. Right. Do you think that's maybe why, when we eat turkey, that maybe we all often feel like we're really tired after we eat turkey because we have to, it's maybe working overtime to kind of,
I used to think that, and I looked it up. There's an amino acid called L-tryptophan,
oh,
and
all right.
what it does is that particular amino acid will cause you to get tight, get drowsy, get tired, that sort of thing. That
All
and
right.
there's a methionine, something like that. But with turkey or or a lot of chicken, a lot of turkey during Thanksgiving, it's really the L-tryptophan in it.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
well,
So,
that's
so
some
maybe,
people eat too much too, but I mean, it's also an amino acid in the turkey naturally called L-tryptophan,
right.
so it helps you to go to sleep.
So maybe like if you're having insomnia, like, a lot of kidney warriors sometimes have, might not be a bad thing maybe to have some turkey late at night, to maybe help you kind of relax.
Indeed, or some warm milk.
There you go. That's a good one. And
But
I lived in Germany for a couple of years. The Europeans like that
Oh,
warm milk,
wow.
I'll tell you that.
get out of here.
Yeah.
So you had great beer over there, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a plenty. They drink a lot of warm beverages, so it's
Warm.
Yeah, a lot of warm beverages. It's crazy because here, we have like ice and almost everything. Even in the wintertime. And when you go there, it's unless they know you're an American, you generally won't get served, with ice in your beverages. It's all like lukewarm or warm room temperature or whatever.
Okay. Okay.
But all right, so so Lisa Baxter's watching one of our. She's on the Lisa Baxter Show on the Urban Health Outreach Media Network, and she's saying that she had turkey tonight. Teach.
Stay awake. Drink a cup of coffee.
Right, exactly. I love Lisa.
Oh, something I just thought of.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. Hi. Something I just thought of because there is a thing with insomnia, and I've had that for quite a few years.
Have you? Okay.
I like to drink energy drinks, and some people will say, "Oh, it's still there." So,
yeah.
The screen changed up. I'm like, oh.
Right. I just broadened it, widened it. That's all.
Okay. There's some people that think I'm addicted to it. I don't know why they would think that, but I like energy drinks. They do what they're supposed to, but you would also have to, if you're going to drink the energy drinks, you're going to also need your phosphorus binders as well.
Okay. Because you have like that same phosphate thing that's in a lot of the.
Yes, exactly. The same like phosphoric acid or whatever form of phosphorus that's in the energy drink. Take your binders and be mindful of it, because if you have high blood pressure, that might mess with your blood pressure.
Right. Yeah. And and I I had, again, like I said before, I have high blood pressure, and so sometimes I try not to necessarily drink too much caffeine, but man, I do like a little pep on my step sometimes. So
it's okay. It's okay. Just don't drink a cup of coffee and the energy drink at the same time.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to have your high blood pressure elevated too much. That's for sure.
No.
And I do try to regulate it, and I take my medicine, but I've got some of my older brothers sometimes will have like 200 over something, and I stay pretty even keel. Mine's like, I'm steady Eddie, where it's like around 140, 145 over something, like 80 or whatever. So,
right.
It kind of hovers over the pre-hypertension, but.
So it sounds like you're more like first level. That sounds more like first level going into second level hypertension.
Yeah,
because when I had 145 over whatever, I was being told that, Mr. Johnson, you're looking at first level high blood pressure, so be careful with that. And that 200 over something, that's Strokeville.
Yeah, that's my brothers. Yeah, so and so I'm glad that not that I wish that not that I'm happy they have it, but I'm happy that mine hasn't necessarily gotten out of hand or gotten to that point. And so
right.
It's interesting to kind of get to know what your doctor tells you to do, or gives you ideas of what you can or can't do, but some of it's based on what they see and what they think, but it's not always, that's the reason why they call it a practice. That sometimes they don't always give you the best advice either. Your body probably in some cases better than they do, because you feel it and stuff. But
exactly, it's like with some buildings in New Jersey, I see it's like, oh, this is the medical arts building. So it's not like medical definitions like arts. It's like the doctor's interpretation of what you could do to make yourself feel better.
Uh-huh.
And I know the American Medical Association is probably going to love me for saying that, but that's the reality.
It really is, yeah.
And like you said, it's practice. It's like, okay, let's try this out, see if it works.
Mm-hmm. And and sometimes they do try to find out what medicine works better with some patients and what medicine doesn't. And and I can appreciate that. I can. I I've had both my parents. Each of my parents has died of cancer, and so
Oh,
you know, and,
sorry.
and thank you, and and so I don't have any living grandparents or parents, but and so I try to be very sensitive to doctors because I was pretty angry, because I thought maybe the doctors could have given better advice or could have done things differently, and it's natural to kind
Right.
of when you're grieving and then through a period of time of just trying to come to grips that you don't have your parents anymore to kind of think that. But
Hmm.
but doctors do make mistakes, and doctors sometimes they learn too, just because new medicine comes out and they try new medicine, and sometimes there are new technologies that come out. But what
Right.
what did what kind of direction did they give you in the beginning when they first talked to you about dialysis? Did they talk to you about, hey, we're going to start you out on the catheter, and then we'd like to eventually move to a fistula, or what kind of direction did
The,
they give you
it
initially?
was. I was told that I would. Of all things, I was told I was going to get a catheter, and
Okay.
I've had people that said, "Oh yeah, they're going to stick it in your neck." And of course, if somebody talking about sticking something in your neck, your first reaction is like, "Ah!"
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I was scared, but actually, it's a catheter they put, let's say, on not your heart side, but to the other side of your chest,
Uh-huh.
and it goes into it's a tube that's about 2 to 3 inches long that goes in your chest, and then eventually I went to a fistula, which is in my non-dominant arm. For me, that's my right arm.
Okay,
Um,
so you're left-handed?
yes, I like to
All
say
right,
call myself.
southpaw.
Thank you. But much like President Obama.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. He is southpaw. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Um, but people being left-handed, we like to call ourselves ambidextrous. But most of the time, people have it put in their left arm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, went from the catheter to the fistula. I have been told that if I could something a graft of some sort, but I was fortunate enough to have uh, my veins and my arteries working properly to the point where it's just a fistula, bring they call the AV fistula, bringing them
AV.
together, the artery and the vein.
Okay, right on. Yeah, my sister-in-law had that same sort of AV fistula. Okay, so I'm
Okay,
I'm pretty familiar with that myself.
excellent, excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Um,
follow you there.
hmm And that's what I was told. And then eventually, it's like, well, Mr. Johnson, we're going to see about you getting on the list for a kidney transplant. So I'm basically in that middle meantime stage, but going towards the transplant.
So they've got you in that direction, and they've made they've helped you make some decisions, they've given you options. And did they ever talk to you, Louis, about doing home dialysis, and they give you any information about that?
Uh, the home dialysis was discussed with me by the people at the clinic I go to. Hello, Davita people. Um, Plainfield, New Jersey. Hi, how you doing?
Nice.
There's one in South Plainfield, a couple different
Uh-huh.
places, but I go to that one.
Okay.
And I've been approached concerning home dialysis a few times, and I could actually do home dialysis in the middle of the night while I'm going to sleep. And I know the benefits of that are I would not have to go to the clinic as often because every night I'm cleaning my blood, ever getting the excess toxins, the excess fluid out of my system, and going from there. And I'm told I could feel a lot better. But I like the fact of someone being right there while I'm sleeping. If something is amiss or needs to be slightly adjusted, there's somebody right there to take care of it. Because if you're a person that doesn't sleep well in general and you're able to sleep decently because of dialysis, you're not trying to wake up very quickly when you're on dialysis. At least that's what I found when I go to dialysis in the clinic. I sometimes have slept horribly at night at home
Oh,
then
okay.
then have gone to the dialysis clinic and sleep straight for about 3 hours, 45 minutes, maybe 3 hours, 50 minutes, and they have to really tap me to wake me up. So,
Wow.
it,
So you almost go you're a sound sleeper then.
yes, yes, indeed.
Mhm.
All right, I feel you. I am too.
Yeah.
I am.
And something I found to be true as well is there are people who do have the kidney disease that are on dialysis that end up being on having sleep apnea.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, I am also one of those people as well.
Okay, brother. I've got sleep apnea too.
Yeah, so you can imagine my wife sitting next to me. She's got some good elbows. Mm. Like,
Yeah.
wake up, get up, and gentlemen, if you're the one with the sleep apnea, please use your mask. Your
Yeah.
your ribs will thank you.
Uh-huh. No snoring, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so wearing that mask and everything is a good thing, but ultimately, I my personal thing is I would rather be at the dialysis clinic and have somebody look after me to take care of that while I'm dialyzing, as opposed to doing it at home.
Okay, gotcha. Now you've mentioned a couple of things I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit. Some interesting points is that, Steve Belcher, he's actually talked in detail on one of his shows recently about insomnia,
Okay.
and the causes of insomnia and what people do to kind of remedy it. And so when you're up at night, we kind of joked around about the turkey, but what are some things maybe that you've done to kind of maybe try to wind down so that maybe you can help yourself sleep?
Put my cell phone down. I
That's a good one. Yeah.
people A lot of people don't believe it, but there is some scientific proof backing up that the blue light that's emitted from our cell phones, or at least from smartphones, has a tendency of keeping you up. um, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I will say that I do remember when the video game Pac-Man first came out.
All
And
right. All right. Me too. Me too.
okay, so you understand how they say addictive it can be. I love to
Yeah.
play that game. Other people will play a whole bunch of other things.
But that was
I'm
your that was your game.
Pac-Man.
Okay. You
Pac-Man.
go into the arcade, put your
Yes.
quarter in there, and that was your game.
Yes. Or now that there's PlayStations or
Yeah.
Xboxes, whatever
Uh-huh.
console, you can play Pac-Man either with a disc or an emulator. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. But if
Uh-huh.
you're walking around like most people, I do too, with my cell phone, Pa- Pac-Man is on there.
Yes. Okay.
Pac-Man is on there. But then the other thing we're talking about in regards to going to sleep, I stay up through Pac-Man, texting, or social media. And social media has a strong hold on a lot of people, and it keeps them up at night.
It can be a
Um,
distraction, is what you're saying.
yes, it can.
Uh-huh.
What else? What else? I'm supposed to be going to sleep.
Yeah, so like, one of the examples that sometimes people do to try to sleep, or is to read a good book.
Uh,
Something to kind of, get their
some
mind in a kind of a state where they're relaxing.
mhm. Sometimes that's good, but if you have a good book, like can I? I'm going to ask. Can I name titles?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So if you're going to read something like Fifty Shades of Grey, or
Uh-huh.
any of the Jason Bourne books
Okay,
written
right,
by
Jason Bourne.
Robert Ludlum, you'll s- you'll have a tendency of staying awake. So
Mm-hmm.
so maybe it might be better to read something boring like a technical manual if you're not so technical,
Right.
or
Gotcha.
read the dictionary, and after a while,
Gotcha. Okay, so it depends upon the book. Well, good point. Good point. You
indeed,
know,
indeed. Um, what else? What else? Oh, don't. don't was like I've heard that thing where they say, "Oh, don't drink coffee or Coca-Cola or energy drink like an hour or two before bed. You'll stay awake." The energy drink, maybe I can
Maybe,
sleep. I can actually sleep on that.
right.
Granted, I may have some crazy dreams, but that's a whole different story.
That's a different story. Yeah.
And it's also been said you can exercise or work out, and it'll help you go to sleep. No, because I find that working out, if I've worked out, and let's say it's midnight and I get home, I'm
Have
up
your
till
heartbeat
2,
going.
3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So if I went to the gym at 10, came back at midnight, I'm still up because your body is keyed up now. It's like it's like
Yeah.
that fight or flight mechanism. It's like, yeah, run, go, run.
Gotcha. Yeah. I
And
feel you.
it comes.
So you're like you're kind of hyped up, and it's and that necessarily doesn't get you relaxed. You're pointing at yourself too, Jasmine.
Oh no,
Yes,
I was scratching my chin.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, yeah, that's for me too, man.
No.
One of the ways I can get him to fall asleep quick is if I tell him all the things on the list of what to do the next day.
Boy.
So I was letting him answer, but if you want the truth.
Oh, okay. So Miss Baxter, I know you've been leaving messages, and I've been seeing them and haven't said anything. Don't respond to that. Don't do it.
Hey,
The lefty comment was good. Don't say anything about that.
I get him to fall asleep, or if I ask him, just to rub my back for a few seconds.
Oh, you want to go there? Really?
That'll knock him right out. So that's how I get him to fall asleep.
Oh, I love it.
We're gonna tell these tales in front of people.
That's how that works. But continue on, honey.
Okay, so one of our other followers, and I want to thank her for watching tonight, is Audrey Bella Langston. Thanks for watching tonight.
Hello.
Hi, Audrey. And she's
what she just I'm reading what she just read.
Yeah.
Meditation, spa music, or what do you call it? I've gone on
binaural beats.
Thank you. Binaural beats on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or
Pandora, or whatever platform, Spotify or whatever, And so the beautiful Audrey Bella Langston has a great comment here, because meditation music can help you, calm down. It can help you kind of relax. One of the things that we do is I have Alexa. I don't know if you guys have Echo, an Echo Dot or any sort of.
We have Google.
Google Assistant. Okay, and so so one of the things that I'll do is I'll just say, hey Alexa, please play, I don't know, ocean music or whatever, something relaxing. Yeah. And you can even set like a routine where it comes on at a certain time. There obviously really creative methods to do this, but she's got a great comment here, and then Lisa, and Lisa's comment is about the massage.
Oh yes.
Yeah. We have there's a certain nighttime procedure that our Google Home does, and it's called Somebody Princess.
Oh,
and I'm not the princess.
Okay,
it's not
you. We're not talking about all that. Yes, massage is a good one.
Oh, that is funny. So, Steve Belcher had a really good comment here. Steve says that, what about bubble baths? So sometimes the warm water, and just kind of the
bathtub is too small.
Okay, too small.
we don't have the whatchamacallit, the jacuzzi bathtub.
Like a jacuzzi yet. Sort of, you don't have like the bubbles that are produced and stuff.
You have to win that multi-million-dollar lottery. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that works for me.
Any bubbles coming out, it's probably not from the bubble bath. It's from something else. Okay.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I'll leave that one alone.
All right. So, and then Aaron Wheeler. Thanks for watching, Aaron. Aaron's another kidney warrior, and thank you for watching. She says, "Me too. Only way I can sleep now." I think she may be talking about maybe the music, And then Lisa's saying that her friend, uses the sounds of like a snow rainwater sort of, music. So
kind of like that white noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like that. that rushing, shushing.
Oh, like waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's relaxing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like ocean waves. I like that too. It's a good idea.
Mhm.
So anyway, so we went off kind of like on this tangent of relaxing sort of music, but reading books. Maybe sometimes people even watch TV. Like my wife loves to watch TV at night when she goes to bed. She actually gets so used to it that it's hard for her to fall asleep unless she has the TV on. So
Really?
many people do that where it helps them relax to watch TV while they're in bed. So I don't know. Me, it keeps me up, but for her, it helps her calm down and fall asleep.
Right. I usually think it's like the TV ends up watching the person instead of the person watching the TV.
There you go. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
White noise. Okay. And then she's got swimming, running, cleaning the house. That's another good one. Some people.
Sport.
Yeah.
Shush. My favorite sport.
Some people will actually, bake or, clean the house, to kind of calm their nerves down.
Oh, just to let it be known, since we're talking about baking, she makes an excellent pineapple upside down cake.
Oh, really? I love that.
Yes, really.
I do.
When he gets the sugar, he won't go to sleep.
Oh, that's getting me hungry just thinking about it. But speaking of baking, Steve is asking, what about medicinal marijuana? I don't know if you're baking it because that's not necessarily medicinal.
No. There is a doctor that I have, and they've actually have granted me the card. I just have to follow up with the state to actually get it.
Right.
But I don't have any experience with that yet. It is said to me because of the different pains that I do have that I am a
candidate.
A candidate. I was trying to find the descriptive word for the candidate, but I'm a good candidate for the medicinal marijuana. But I haven't used any of the legal stuff or the not so legal stuff.
Well,
because I'm good, clean, and wholesome.
All right, gotcha. Well, being clean and wholesome, the one thing that often gets forgotten about is just hemp. Hemp is cannabis, but it's not, cannabis that will have anything that will get you, feeling like you're having that high sensation. So hemp is oftentimes, forgotten about, and hemp, in many cases is often, what people refer to when you hear the CBD oils. Okay.
Right.
And it's all the rage right now, but I got to tell you, CBD, because it's in a hemp form and, it has the identical same properties as the cannabis and marijuana, but it doesn't have that same effect of giving you that sensation. So with all
THC is taken out of it.
Exactly. So, in many cases, hemp can do that if it's in the, whether it's in a CBD oil or some sort of lotion or, there are many different ways to use the CBD.
Right.
Have you ever thought about that, or have you ever used hemp in any form?
I had a problem with was it my shoulder or my elbow? I think it was one of my shoulders a couple of months ago, and Jasmine found a CBD oil someplace, and I used it, and it ended up taking the pain away from my shoulder, and I was able to move it normally again.
All right, on.
Up until then, it was just like my arm was right on my shoulder, right on my chest, like it would if I had broken it, and they had to put it in a cast. Once that CBD oil got to be absorbed by my shoulder and everything, I was able to move my arms around.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool.
So it does work.
Yeah, that is so cool. And by the way, and I want to touch on that a little bit more if we may, but Lisa is getting into send me that cake recipe.
Will do.
And so, nice. So, the CBD oil is a great thing. And that's awesome that you've got, a pretty good success story there, because again, because CBD is, really used in many states now, because you don't have to, It doesn't have to be legal like in Colorado or California like marijuana is, or Oregon, or
Right.
Washington. CBD oil, again, is cannabis, but it gives you that same effect. And it can also not only help you with pain, but oftentimes the CBD oil can help you with other things. I'm just I'm very interested in hearing how many other kidney warriors have used hemp in any form to see if maybe that's helped them.
Hmm. I can tell you, it works for pain. The certain CBD oil that we have was in a 2 ounce or 4 ounce, maybe a little.
2 ounce.
Okay, a little 2 ounce container.
Yeah.
Um, I've also used it on my hips as well. I saw the comment.
Yeah.
Because I've had pains in my hips and my knees as well. But whatever preparation I think they use, not just hemp, not just the CBD oil, but there's coconut oil, shea butter, all mixed up
Shea
into it.
butter,
So
yes.
it ends up being a very good, like a lotion, as it were.
Uh-huh.
So um, if one of the things about being on dialysis is they go out of the way to take excess fluid out of you. So whether you're of African American or not, you end up getting something called ashiness. And truth be told, whether you're black, you're Asian, you're of European nationality, you will get quote unquote ashy. So
Mm-hmm.
putting the CBD oil when you're trying to take care of, let's say, a joint pain like in your shoulder or your fingers or your shoulder elbow fingers, it not only does it take away the pain or help with the pain, you also end up having your skin look nice as well and putting some moisture back into it that was taken away from the dialysis.
What kind of strength is
Yeah,
that name?
I could hold the phone while you go find out.
My
Okay.
phone is on. Wait, let me see your phone. I'll
All
Google it
right.
while you're doing
Well,
that.
well, keep. I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to find out.
I'll look on your
Oh,
phone.
there you go. Okay.
I'm still showing.
Okay.
When I find it, I will let you know. I had gotten it off of Amazon.
All right. All right. So, one of the things that, man, this is a great topic. I could do a whole topic just on the hemp. This is awesome.
Hmm.
So, you've got the shea butter that you're talking about that helps you with
Right.
your how your skin reacts.
Right. And it's in the whatchamacallit, the CBD oil that she's looking up right now. The shea butter,
Mm-hmm.
the coconut oil, it's all in that
And
particular
that one I
and
got.
all in that preparation that she's looking up right now.
There was two.
Okay.
There's one actually. The one that he's referring to that has all the different like natural oils. That one I actually got from Hanson Stone Massage place. They actually sell it now. They can do it with the massage, but they also sell it separately. So that's the one he's talking about. The one that
Okay.
that
Uh-huh.
really worked like instantly is that's the one I'm looking for now.
That's the one you're looking for. Yeah. And I, in Utah, I see that a lot of pharmacies actually have hemp, well, CBD, whether it's in a lotion or oil, they have like a lot of that, they're selling it. And I'm not sure, if they have like a distributor or what, but I'm seeing that in a lot of pharmacies now, and
Yeah,
so uh, Steve's asking, what about the transplant team, and what do they think about the CBD oil? So are they, you know, are they say that that's a great sort of holistic approach, and that's something
They
that
they
they're
have not they have not said anything to me about that yet. If it were up to me, I'll go the medicinal marijuana route. Oh, there you go. Let's have
yeah.
okay. But
Right.
they've not said anything to me about anything on the holistic philosophy. Granted, I like the holistic philosophy because it's more than just surgery and drugs. But that's since I'm not a doctor, I'm just a lay person. I'm not no pharmacy. I don't represent a pharmacy. I don't represent pharmaceuticals. So I believe in a holistic viewpoint. eating your fruits and veggies, drinking your milk, saying your prayers, all the
Sure.
things that Hulk Hogan preached back in the early '80s, which tends to be true. But then there's also
I
things
hear
that
what you're saying, brother. Sorry, that
exactly.
was a really
How do you
bad
think he
Hulk
got
Hogan.
one of the that's like one of the ways I think he got those 22-inch pythons.
I know, right?
So
Exactly.
so that's a good thing. And then um, you talk about holistic sort of thing. There is one person who I know he's in jail, and I will say his name over an open channel. Kevin Trudeau. I've read a couple of his books, and there's some things that I've gotten out of his books that made a lot of sense, and that I have some of his ideas, suggestions that he got from other people and put into his books. They've made a lot of sense.
Okay,
So
Kevin Trudeau. That name kind of rings a bell. Who is that guy?
um, things that they won't tell you.
Uh huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Uh, if you look up Kevin Trudeau and look up a book, I'm trying to think of a book. Natural Cures, things that they
Okay.
won't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. The original book I think was like a black and somewhat purple book. I've gotten quite a few ideas and things from him from on that standpoint of things. But I think originally what drew me to him was Mega Memory, and then not going
Okay.
past
Okay.
looking at Mega Memory and
So
looking
training.
into his other books. Hmm?
Okay. Steve was just answering why that name rings a bell. The comic strip. Okay. So that.
No, though. Well, there's Trudeau and it's not Kevin Trudeau, but Trudeau is also the name of the president in Canada.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So I know about that name.
So what
Um,
introduced you to this book or to Kevin Trudeau?
Mega Memory, and
Okay.
then as they say, I went down the rabbit hole,
All right.
and
Yeah.
I looked into other things that he's been affiliated or associated with, and Mega Memory has helped me at a certain point when I haven't mentioned it, but I've had high blood pressure since 2003, and I had a stroke, a full CVA,
You
which for
come
those
again?
that CVA, it's cerebral
Uh-huh.
vascular accident, and that's actually
Wow.
what. Yeah, it's a mouthful. So if you say it
Yeah.
3 times fast after having about a half a gallon of Grey Goose, you're not going to be able to say it. Just a thought.
Just
Just
a
a thought.
thought, but yeah, that
Exactly.
yeah.
But it's something that the stroke is something that I've had, and there's quite a few things. Let's put it this way: at the time I had my stroke, um, I had lost about 5 to 8 years of my memory.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm 100% serious.
Man.
I have. Let's put it this way:
Wow.
there's family members who I know very good details about them. Couldn't
Mhm.
remember them at all.
So
I
did your memory come back though, Louis?
Yes, doing a lot of the exercises with that from that mega memory
Okay.
helped me to helped me to
Like regain and remember.
regain some of my memory back,
Oh wow.
and then the things that I can remember and that stick with me. It's because of the different exercises that I continue to practice from the mega memory course that Kevin Trudeau put out. So
Interesting. Wow.
So that's why I precluded what my stating that yes, I know that he's in jail and that the FCC may have something against him, and that's why they put him in jail. But I am a person who doesn't know this man personally, who can say that yeah, at least a couple of things that he has put out has helped me.
Okay. Well, there are many good people that are behind bars because sometimes the reason why they're behind bars is a bad thing that they've done, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. So,
Like Bernie Madoff?
Yeah, that could be. But certainly, so I wouldn't negate or say that because he's behind bars doesn't mean he has good thoughts or that his ideas are bad. I think that as a society we owe it to ourselves to be open-minded to a point and we can't be so judgmental that we say, well, because he's he's in prison or because he's a criminal that that he's got to be wrong. I mean, people,
Understood.
what I mean? Yeah. So I totally can see how, even if he is behind bars, I think that, that it would be, I think, very close-minded, and shame on people for thinking that he doesn't have a good idea if he is behind bars. I think that's, it says a lot about your character, Louis, that you didn't, have that as a block in your mind,
No. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. I will say this. Watch the movie The Green Mile.
The Green Mile. Okay. Yeah. I remember that movie.
The Green Mile, and especially the Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
That's a movie where someone was put in jail, and he really should not have been in jail in the first place, and that was Andy Dufresne.
Okay.
That was the character's name, Andy Dufresne.
Okay.
In the Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, it's been a little while, but I remember that movie. It had Morgan Freeman in it, and
yes, it did. Tim Robbins.
Robbins, that's right. Yes. Yeah, that's a good movie.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that again, man. I've forgotten the characters' names and stuff, but I remember the premise of the movie. Lisa Baxter saying that she loved that movie too, and and the Green Mile is a good one. But do you have a bottle jar of the oil around the house? Do you need it, or do you still use it?
Sometimes use it on occasion. That's like that. That's that emergency. Okay, I'm feeling pain right now, sort of thing. We keep that out someplace where if someone is feeling pain, put a little bit of that on that particular elbow or finger or shoulder. It works well. Or ankle.
All right, in the ankle, because you get some pain in your ankles too. Then.
On occasion, yes.
All right.
On occasion, well, more in my hips than anything, and I think that's a thing concerning when a person has dialysis. They literally suck everything out of you, and I mean they take the toxins and they take take excess fluid, but it's more of a blanket approach where you're not just taking the bad, you're also taking the good. So you're on dialysis and you're missing minerals now because they literally got sucked out through your blood. So you have to put them back into your system as well. So there's things specific to a man. They get sucked out of them, and a lot of guys not going to talk about it. And I may not talk about it right now, but you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Yeah,
and then you're also talking about calcium, even though they say, well, you got to take your phosphorus binds or something may calcify.
Yeah,
but you end up getting those things pulled out of you. This is why I believe those people who are on dialysis end up having to take specific vitamins and minerals because they are on dialysis. Because you need that extra, like they say, you take your vitamins and minerals to make you feel good in general. Well, especially because you're feeling sluggish and tired afterwards. To get back to feeling somewhat normal, those kidney vitamins, as they call them, it's a good thing to go and take.
Yeah, and you just said something I want to talk about just very briefly. Is that you talked about feeling normal.
Yes.
feeling normal is very important because, many kidney warriors, they don't feel sometimes, they often don't feel normal because,
Oh,
their situation has made them feel it's surreal to them. We
tired?
talked about, yeah, exactly. We talked about this just the other day where, before dialysis, you're tired. After dialysis, you feel tired. And then
Oh,
oftentimes a lot of different things that happen
the dialysis
physically.
hangover.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you talked about insomnia. I mean, there are just so many different things that are happening that you may not have had before.
Right. Right.
You said you've had high blood pressure since the early 2000s, but so you're used to that and controlling it and watching it. But, the other things that are connected to the dialysis and having kidney disease have been new. So, that feeling normal, I totally think that that's extremely important. I
Hmm.
do, because mentally, emotionally, it's so important to feel there is something normal in your life that is how your life used to be, or that
Hmm.
you're not, that there's something that's making you feel, like that you're not abnormal. You feel me? Do you see what I'm saying here? Is that there?
I have an idea. I'm going to address it this way. For me, going on dialysis is like there's that TV show, The Orange is the New Black.
Right.
Being on dialysis, this is the new normal. There are days that you're going to be, oh, I'm awake. I feel good. I feel great. And then there are other days where you're just like, leave me alone. Give me a pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream or a half gallon of Edie's Rocky Road and
Oh, I'm
leave me
all over
alone,
that. Yeah.
and exactly, and I'm going to sleep. Or I
Hmm.
don't need none of that. Just leave me alone and pull the blanket over my head and let me pass out for 6 to 8 hours.
Hmm.
And then, as you know, the body has a thing of overcompensating, and now you're awake for like the next 8 to 10 hours, and you can't get back to sleep because your body has already gotten enough rest, even though it's the middle of the night for you. And oh, I'm awake. I want to move around, do stuff. It's the new normal is there is no normal. It's you just get accustomed to things being different. Like I've been sort of an insomniac since the late. Oh, I guess I'm telling on myself if I say that.
No, you're good.
Now I'm going to say that I've been an
For a while.
insomniac off and on for a while,
Yeah.
and having been on going on dialysis, when I used to go to dialysis about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'd go right to sleep
Hmm.
and then wake up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and wonder why the lights are off. So
Just
yeah,
it's because of the difference and your body kind of getting used to. Gotcha.
e- exactly. And I see what Aaron Wheeler said. I'm glad you understand if that's what you're talking. If you're talking about what I'm talking about right now, but yeah, it's weird. Your body will be up at certain times, and then you want to go to sleep at other times. It's crazy. I mean, like if you attempt to keep a job, you're definitely using coffee and or energy drinks to help you because you have to find a way to stay awake. It's like I said, it's strange.
Yeah.
What seeing?
I admire anybody that's going through what you're going through, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Wheeler too, Lisa Baxter, I mean, all these kidney warriors that are commenting and talking about, how it's affecting them. It's, I appreciate you saying that because, you may have had a life before and you may have some things that you still do, but, it's getting used to the new normal and getting used to how it's different and you have a new normal now. But, you know,
Exactly.
what are some things that you do besides eating Italian food, which I love? What are some things that you guys like to do together It kind of helps. It kind of maybe on a bad day or a day that you're not feeling as well with dialysis or getting back, that maybe you do to kind of get your mood better or to get your, I don't know, get your, I don't know, just to feel better. What are some things like that
Um,
you do?
Going on long drives, finding a
Like a little road
decent
trip or just a drive?
either or, but
All right.
most of the time it's just let's get on the highway and drive for about an hour or two, and have have conversation, getting to getting to know someone better,
Uh-huh.
being able to ask those pointed questions to find out things that you'd like to know. Um, Obviously, Jasmine and I were married, and so we're learning each other. I mean, you can be married 1 year, you could be married 50 years, but you still never know that person in their entirety. So every day you're learning something about the person that you said, you know what, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my life, even though they might give me elbows in my ribs when
Oh
I
my gosh.
snore. But you know,
Brother, I got a little white in my beard, but what you just said was a lot wiser than anything I've ever said. That's awesome.
oh, thank you.
Man,
That's,
that's well said, because yeah, we can constantly learn more in a relationship. We can constantly get to learn something new, and then we we're always evolving too. And there's something about, I may learn about myself that I didn't know before, and then if I didn't know about it, then how can my wife know about it? And so man, it's well said. I love that.
oh, thank you.
And like for him, I know like there isn't right now like a normal in the eyes of people that aren't affected.
Yeah.
Because even being his wife, I have to see what he goes through. I don't
Hmm.
want to wake him up when he's asleep after dialysis, but I also miss my husband when he's knocked out for hours.
Oh.
Whatever. Knocked out for hours. So I mean, like
Right.
She
I
loves me.
oh boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So like I try to normalize our abnormal lifestyle as much as possible. So like yeah, we go on long trips, like just down. We'll pick a highway and just go down for a couple hours and talk.
Oh, that's
We'll
cool.
go
Yeah.
to like a scenic route and just sit and look at all that God has provided in His artwork.
Well,
Or we'll there are times like
chocolate.
well, that's my thing. but
That's
I mean we'll go like I'm very aware of his need to stick to his schedule with dialysis and the foods that he needs to eat. So we might go like we might have a getaway out of New Jersey, but I make sure to coordinate with his what do you call it, social worker?
At the dialysis.
Yeah, his dialysis social worker, Melita. She's great.
Yay!
And just to coordinate, like if we're gonna go to Virginia, like okay, can you set his dialysis up here, and just
hmm.
so he's not limited on what he can do, because like it's yes, it is a life altering situation that he has, but I don't think that defines him in any way. So I make it and huh?
Barbados.
Yeah, even for our honeymoon, we went to Barbados, and
Oh
that was
wow,
a
you
big
guys went to Barbados? That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I was like, we'll find a dialysis clinic, and they were amazing. And like, luckily, he is in, he's more healthy than not as far as being able to go out of the country and get the dialysis, or go out of
Uh-huh.
state and get the dialysis, and him being okay with getting it there.
Yeah.
Um, but even then, it's like a lot of research and a lot of time. But we try to make every effort to live as normal as possible with what we have. So what is that? Make lemonade out of lemons or whatever it's called.
Oh,
That's
it's
what you take the
perfect.
lemons you've been
Yeah,
given, and
yeah,
you make lemonade.
yeah.
So I got to
Yep.
ask though. I mean, not only was Barbados just a wow. I've heard, I've heard it's very beautiful there. But
Hmm.
tell me how it was, you know, at the dialysis center when you went there. How did it look? How was the staff? How was the technology? Can you give me an idea of how it was different?
You want me to answer? Or do you want her to answer?
Sure, either one
Yeah,
of
you
you.
can answer. First of all, the staff was an. Oh, yeah, I have the
I'm
headphones.
sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. um, the staff was absolutely amazing. Where we stayed, it was in walking distance from the resort that we were at, so we had no problems getting there. They were so accommodating with the time frame because we're on vacation.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, he still has to follow his schedule. But just the fact that it's like, okay, well, when do you need to be here? If you want to come in earlier, we can accommodate you. Like they were incredible.
That is
As
so
far as
cool.
like the mechanics of it, I don't. There wasn't a difference. I didn't.
They have the same machines there as that we do up here.
Yeah,
It's the same
And
equipment.
yes, yes.
yeah.
Fresenius K108 or 200 or 2000 machine,
Uh-huh.
same sort of thing. The only thing that's different, and I've been to Barbados as well as I've been further overseas. It's the water and the filtration of the water. That's what makes the difference. The technology, I believe, is universal, either in Barbados or if you go to Japan, China,
hmm
Korea, or the Philippines. Um, the machines are the same because people all over the world have kidney problems. They're
Right.
end-stage kidney disease. They're on dialysis. Um, it's just that the water is from one part of the globe to the other is different. And being a person that is on dialysis, I can tell the difference between waters because it's going into me as
Wow,
well.
interesting.
Um, yeah, it's
They
you.
made you feel differently.
I have. I'll speak for myself, obviously. I've gone to different places and had dialysis,
Uh-huh.
and how do I put this? Um, After going through a dialysis session in Barbados as well as in the Philippines, and then when I first started doing dialysis in the United States, I felt like I had to, whatever was in my stomach, it had to come out. I was sweating profusely. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, some people that there's
And that
oh,
was like just the first day,
that
though.
was the yeah that may be the first day. But depending upon how your body reacts to the dialysate, which is the water, as well as whatever they
hmm
make whatever powder they make the dialysate with,
Yeah.
your body will react to it. And on each different occasion, at least the first day, I can feel it. I can tell. Like in the Philippines, I threw up. I looked as if I were going through um, withdrawals from heroin, and
Oh,
I've never touched this
wow.
thing. Well, if you've ever watched or read the book Little House on the Prairie,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's a very old
Little
TV
Laura
show.
Ingalls. I
And
gotcha.
exactly, and her brother uh, towards the latter part of the show,
hmm
he was like Pa had to get him off of morphine, whatever. And I remember that sort of situation that went on where like he was like where Matthew, whatever the brother's name was, he was throwing up and he was sweating profusely. This is what happens when the same thing sort of happened with me when the first day of being in a different country and using the water for the filtration for the dialysis. It may or may not happen, but it's something that can occur.
Wow. Interesting.
It's the dextrose.
Yeah, that's what Steve is saying here. And so
But he
the
also made another comment about how do we pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
With
Cash.
Barbados, I paid cash for that. They gave us like a discount, like do do three
Do three, get your fourth
no,
free.
no, it was like they gave a discount for it. It was
19.99.
surprising. It was I did do research on a few places when it came to the honeymoon because that would have
Yeah,
been the biggest challenge was
right.
where is he went to the Philippines long before me but when it came down to Barbados it was researching where we felt would be accommodating as far as the distance from the dialysis clinic to the resort. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of water filtration the mechanics of or whatever the
Machine.
machines, what the machines were like, and also the cost. And surprisingly, it wasn't as expensive as other places that we researched. Um,
But it will
so
come. It will come out of your pocket.
it will come
It
out of the
is out of
pocket.
pocket.
Yeah,
Okay,
But
interesting.
the insurance does not pay out of
uh,
the
All
pocket.
right, yeah, because
Yeah.
I've
insurance insurance doesn't pay, will not pay. If you live in the United States and you have Medicare,
there,
they're not paying for it. You have to eat the cost. Yeah, you
yeah.
have dialysis, you have to pay for your dialysis overseas. If you're on a cruise ship or whatever, there's some loophole they can use. They don't pay for they don't pay for any of it. So if it's 14 or $2,000 for however many uh, sessions, just that's an investment in yourself. You're not getting it back. If
So what
someone
was
says
the?
if someone says that you are getting it back, let me know because I'd like to find out how you
Because
got
you'd
your
like to
money.
find that out too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
What was the staff conditions?
Staff rate. It was like at one point it was
like,
just Louis
Yeah, it was
in
just
the clinic.
early in the morning. It was just me, and it was the nurse that
Two
set them.
nurses.
Well, it was the it was the one, and
That's
then
one.
she came in later.
Yeah.
But it would be like the nurse to hook me up to the machine, and then while I'm dialyzing, then the other nurse may come in, and then there are days where it was myself and about 4 to 5 other people, and it might be the nurse that hooks the machines up, and then also again later on the other nurse that does the office work or the business work concerning
hmm
dialysis. She would come in and assist. Uh, they're great.
they they spoke English to you, not
Yes,
they.
Yeah,
yes,
everybody
Okay.
spoke English
yes,
there. Mhm.
and nice, great, um, gentle. I mean, I know you can't see me per se, but I'm tall and I have some weight on me, and they were gentle with me. Which you're having a 2-inch needle stuck in two parts of your arm.
hmm
Um, it's a good thing to be gentle,
Right.
especially when you're doing something like that, because that does not tickle. You either you get used to it, or you're able to put your mind someplace else and not think about the initial pinch or the pinch and feeling the needle go millimeter by millimeter going into your arm till it stops. Needless to say, it was a good thing that they're gentle.
hmm
They're gentle. Where I went to, it's clean.
All
It's
right.
quiet. It's summertime all year round, so they have an air
Yeah.
conditioner and fan. It was great.
Very cool. Man, that is so interesting. I mean, that is very interesting, and it sounds like that they treated you well. You're talking
Indeed,
about how they were, the care was good.
yes, indeed. That's very
You know,
important. You can't put a price on that.
no, right. I totally agree with you. And you're treated well, and that's absolutely fantastic. And it's been awesome, Louis, Jasmine. This has been great. I'm so happy we did this. This has been fantastic, and I'm glad we can get your story out there. I've got
Yeah.
um,
Me too.
I've got the transplant hospital information down below. And you're with being type O. I had mentioned this before. Um, the being type O actually does present you in a way where your donor can actually be type O, A, AB, or B. And so, because you're type O, your donor doesn't have to be just type O, it doesn't have to be like O positive or O negative. And so,
Right.
The donor blood type could be any of those things, and most transplant hospitals do accept the paired exchange program. Does your hospital accept that as well?
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay, great.
Indeed. And for some of the research I've done, they say that O is universal, either in donating or getting.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose I'm special in that way.
Yeah, it is.
Because either being able to receive or give, because always that. It's just that, okay, you can get this and you can give that. So for me, I suppose I'm good in that respect.
Yes, it is. Because the donor can be many of the blood types, and you're not going to be just limited to just one or two. So that could be a very good thing. And so I'm hoping that we can get this out there to as many people as possible. So please continue to share this. I thank you, Erin. I think she's already shared it. Erin Wheeler has. I know Steve Belcher has. And so please continue to share this so that we can get Louis. I want your story told. I want your information out there to as many people as possible so that people can understand your story, get to know what you're going through, and so that we can find you a living kidney donor. So, man, I'm happy to do this. And man, I could continue to talk about Barbados, though. I mean, Steve's got some other good questions here.
All you gotta do is you want to talk about it, talk to Jasmine. She'll tell you everything you want to know. Yeah. Everything. Oh, sandals. Wow.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, just to answer one of the questions that Lisa had about the hemp. It was just hemp cream, 1,500 milligrams.
1,500.
Yeah, I just got it off of Amazon. It wasn't anything like. Cool, yeah, but that really worked. Hemp pain relief cream. So
all right, I shop Amazon. I'll probably look for it myself. And so Steve Belcher, because of his experience, he has some great questions, and he's, and he would love to have you guys on his show that he's doing tomorrow night, which would also give you another opportunity again to have your information that I've presented, on his show again. So it'd give you another opportunity. Can I have him connect with you and talk to you about being on his show tomorrow night?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah, he's driving right now, but I'll send him your information if that's okay.
Yeah.
And he can talk to you about that. Having been in the kidney disease world for 30 plus years as a technician and registered nurse, Steve Belcher is a great source, and I'm sure he's got some more medically based questions like he's had tonight, and commented. So I'll get you connected with him. But it's been my pleasure. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Same here.
Thank you. God bless you both. Have a great evening. And I hope that we can continue to get this replayed, do watch parties, and just continue to get your information so that, we'll be celebrating. You can hit me up, let me know that you found a living kidney donor, and we can maybe go to Barbados together. Okay.
Yes. That'd be great.
That sounds good.
I've never been there.
First class. You definitely want to go first class.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on again. Have a good evening. God bless you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Louis.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Hey guys, we've heard from Louis and Jasmine, and man, they've had it. Louis has a great story, very unique, and again, their chemistry together is really good too. I love how their banter and the way they connect with each other, and that's important to have a good support system. And I love that they have each other this way. We've had a great story, and I have so much passion talking about this and getting these stories out there, but I need your help. I need your help so that we can make sure that we get this to as many people as possible. All right, please continue to share. Click on the share button so that we can get this to just as many people as possible. And that way we have a better opportunity to find him a living kidney donor. So thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for being a follower of Warriors Quest. Please continue to watch all of the shows on the Urban Health Outreach Media Network, because we've got to get kidney disease awareness out there. Thank you. Have a good evening, folks. I appreciate you watching. Oh, I've got an outro. Hold on. Where's that outro?